Or is it on? Hello. Thank you for having us. We're really excited to be here. My name is Anna. This is my brother William, and we are the co-founders of Optiact. We make sustainable skincare products from ingredients which would otherwise be discarded, things that are considered waste or byproducts, giving them a new lease of life in the form of our products. So we're just going to tell you a little bit about our story, where we've taken our brand, and how we are trying to shake up the beauty industry with regards to issues such as waste and trying to minimize the waste that we are producing.
Sure. So the idea started, I had it about 2.5 years ago. It was Christmas 2016, and I was given a cafetiere for Christmas. And I was brewing my own coffee in the morning, and then had all these residual coffee grounds left over, and had nothing kind of to do with them, so I was just resorting to throwing them away. And I felt there must be an alternative, better use than just simply throwing them away. Think about how many people drink coffee every day. It's an enormous ingredient, and by definition, therefore, it's an enormous waste product. In fact, 500,000 tons of it is sent to landfill every year in the UK alone. And the reason why it's bad is because it gets sent to landfill, where it degrades and rots and begins to release methane, a greenhouse gas 20 times worse than carbon dioxide.
So we decided that we were going to, this was our problem, and we wanted to try to alleviate this. There were lots of things happening in the skincare world, for example, the microbead scandal. And we knew that coffee had great benefits for your skin. It's packed with antioxidants. The caffeine helps issues like cellulite and stretch marks. And no one was really tackling the issue of waste whilst also using that ingredient. So we decided to start creating our own coffee body scrub. And what better way to test this on the market than to take it to a show? So we booked the London Coffee Festival, and we made, a few hundred of our coffee scrubs, and we took them there and we sold out on the first day. And then for the rest of the, 4 days of the festival, we had a lot of late nights making more and more and more. And that was the first time where we realized, okay, people like this. People are open-minded to the idea of putting something which is technically being considered as waste on their skin. And that was really where Optiact was born and where our concept began. Oops.
So this is just a quote from Richard Branson, particularly relevant because we got a startup loan from Virgin. But I think what was really important for us is that when we were launched, it was that we had a higher purpose than simply just to make profit. For us, it was really important to have something different that made us stand out, but also something which kind of went beyond just a normal kind of company. And for that, the sustainability angle was really, really important for us.
So this is the range that we then went on to develop, a little bit further along than the batches that we were literally making at home that we'd taken to the festival. So we call this range For the Love of Scrub. It's a range of 4 naturally scented coffee, body and face scrubs made from these coffee grounds. We started with one coffee shop. We called them up and we said, hey, what are you doing with all of the coffee that you're producing? And they said that unfortunately they were just having to have it taken away by the council, where it was then sent to landfill. We started with one, and we've now built that up to approximately 60 or 70 small chain and independent coffee shops all over this area and beyond. We go at the end of the day, we collect up everything that they have produced from that day, and then we quickly turn it into our products. All of our products are natural, vegan, sustainable, and produced by hand within the UK.
So yeah, just touching back on the point, it's obviously an enormous problem. And kind of when we had the idea, there were a number of factors that were happening at the same time which kind of contributed to kind of helping us come to the idea. One of the main ones being the microbead scandal, the fact that obviously these tiny plastic beads were being used in exfoliators. And what we came across, almost stumbled across, was the fact that these coffee grounds, which were being discarded and just simply being thrown away, acted as fantastic natural exfoliator, which worked better than these kind of synthetic alternatives. And given the scale of the problem, it was an ingredient that was readily available, and for us, a great way to kind of start.
And we're not denying that we're not the only coffee scrub that exists. There are other coffee scrubs, and we looked a lot at what was already available on the market. But what we did find quite consistently was that for us, for what we were looking for, they were falling short on quite a few categories. And you know, for example, the price point. We've spoken a lot about price point tonight and how it can be a real struggle to produce something that is sustainable whilst also competing with these others in terms of price. No one was doing it from recycled grounds, despite the fact that the actual ingredients not only maintain the quality through the process, but actually it's argued that they increase. Take coffee, for example, the level of antioxidants has been shown to increase through the brewing process. So the ingredients that we are repurposing are not depleted in any way. There's no reason not to, essentially. Again, with things like the imagery on their social media channels, that was something that was always consistent and something that we didn't necessarily feel like we were aligned with. We couldn't connect to it. We couldn't connect to these Australian models on the beach and all of this sort of thing. We wanted it just to be a little bit more real, a bit more transparent and authentic to ourselves. So we saw a real gap.
I think for us, the sustainability angle was important, but it wasn't enough. For us, we had to have something as a startup which would make us differentiated. We deliberately went for the big emoji icons in order to kind of tap into the whole emoji culture. We went with the theme-based, the theme-led scents. So, for example, the peppermint and the eucalyptus essential oils. The idea is that it wakes you up in the morning. Therefore, we call it the hangover coffee scrub, and that kind of thing. And it was about kind of being slightly different and giving us the shelf presence, which would enable us to kind of start the conversation without necessarily shouting at the forefront about the sustainability angle.
So we released this first range and it went very well. We managed to get it into some quite big retailers. And it was at this point where we could take a step back and really think about what we wanted our brand to stand for. Yes, we'd taken the issue of coffee and we had made a sustainable skincare product from it, but we didn't want to be known as simply a coffee scrub company. So, this is where we thought, okay, coffee isn't the only ingredient that can be repurposed, and we really wanted to start to explore other avenues. So really, as again, in previous speakers have spoken about, bringing the circular economy to these industries and moving away from a linear perspective. And again, I feel like these sorts of things are increasingly becoming entry-level expectations. I think most people now look for these sorts of credentials in the brands that they wish to support and the products that they're choosing to use. So we wanted to be a little bit more. And that's where we really differentiate ourselves from other people out there. There are an awful lot of organic brands now. There are an awful lot of natural brands. But how many brands can say that they're tackling waste by repurposing and breathing a new lease of life into these ingredients? And there we go. So this is what's kind of grabbed us attention in some fairly big press, like the Evening Standard. Rethinking rubbish, a vision of the future, and that's exactly what sustainability is all about.
And so building on the concept of this kind of circular economy and taking ingredients that would otherwise be discarded and giving them new purpose and new use, we launched our second range, which is a range of certified organic, 100% natural face masks. This time we take the outside of the hemp seed, which is the husk. We partner with an organic cooperative farm in Oxfordshire and basically collect them. They're a natural byproduct of the manufacture of hemp seeds and hemp oil, and we collect them and we use them as a kind of core ingredient in our face masks.
So the face masks that we have made, we've tailored them to different skin types. We've got one for more oily combination skin, one for sensitive, and one which is slightly more directed towards male skincare needs. With our coffee scrubs, we found that we had a lot of male customers and we'd kept our packaging quite intentionally gender neutral. However, it's a lot more difficult to persuade men to use a face mask. So we thought we would just give them their own. And the ingredients in there are very good for soothing things like razor burn and shaving rash. We also strive for the organic certification wherever possible. This wasn't possible for our coffee scrubs because the sourcing of the ingredients was coming from so many different places. So if we wanted actual certification, we would have to also get those coffee shops to get certification, and that was not feasible. So for any future products, if the source of the repurposed ingredient is from one place, so with the hemp, it is this one cooperative farm, it's much easier for us to go about getting those certifications, and we always will where possible. And so, veganism, zero waste, plastic-free, all of these things are trends. Some will come and go, some will stay. So plastic-free, for example, it was interesting hearing in the previous talk about the things you fight for and the things that you can't fight for as a young brand. When we started, we didn't necessarily want to be in plastic. There's a lot of shortfalls to paper packaging. Using that in a shower with wet hands, it ruins the product. It just doesn't work. And then other options, the minimum order quantities, we're talking hundreds of thousands. So we started in plastic. All of our packaging is recyclable. And now we're in a slightly more advantageous position, and we will be changing our plastic tubes to aluminium. Of course, there's pros and cons of everything, and we have these debates all the time with people. But yeah, hopefully as we get further along the line, we're more capable to make these decisions and go back and look at what we've done and what we've been criticised for and what we're proud of, and make the amendments as we move forward, always referring back and bettering what we've already put out as well. And again, so we are now in this position where we were originally unknown in this field. We were just some loons who drive around coffee shops asking them for their coffee grounds. With all the staff turnover, it never gets easier. But now we're in the position where brands are coming to us saying, hey, I've got a juice bar, or I'm a tea company, can you, I make all of these, I don't know, whatever it might be, can you come along and take away my waste and try to turn that into something new? And that's really exciting for us, because it's clearly something that everyone is wanting to get involved in and wanting to get on board with.
Sure, so I think taking kind of a step back and thinking about what we've learned over the last 2 years, there's a combination of things. Obviously, firstly, the ingredients and the way that we're using it is differentiated and unique. And to that end, creating solutions around these ingredients and thinking about ways that we can incorporate them into beauty products. And of course, fundamentally, integrity and transparency. And that's really what we have to always, as a minimum, achieve in order to kind of maintain the level of trust and transparency that we always aim for.
Again, this has been referred to this evening, which is quite exciting, that really it's not just the old hippies who are leading this charge. Now we're here, a lot of the speakers tonight have been quite young, and we're now leading this change, trying to inspire others. I mean, we do get a lot of people saying, are you sure you're going to tackle the beauty industry and try to persuade people to put waste on their face? And yes, that's a slightly intimidating prospect. But the fact that we've come so far in the short time that we have existed as just two individuals working from their parents' house, I think shows that there really is a movement here, and people are so happy and excited to get on board, and that's brilliant. And again, if we can make waste aspirational, if we can make it cool, and people can take hold of our concept and want to shout about it and want to say to their friends, hey, this coffee that I'm putting on my face has been collected from the place where I get my coffee every day, then we're succeeding in what we're doing. And again, veganism as a thing is really growing. These massive places that sell skincare products like Superdrug and Boots are now putting this at the forefront of their messaging as well. So they're listening to the fact that the sales are going up, and they're creating things like edits, where they're categorizing vegan as a category to be proud of. Whereas I think even 5 years ago, to be honest, that might not have been a thing.
Sure, so we were launched about 2 years ago, and since then we've seen encouraging traction. We obviously have a long way to go, but we are listed in the likes of now Waitrose, Planet Organic, Whole Foods, As Nature Intended, and Topshop. And as well, we've begun to grow the audience and have seen good press as well along the way. This is just kind of a map. We've also seen interest from across Europe, particularly in Scandinavia, in Iceland as well, really kind of enjoying and appreciating kind of the concept of what we're doing and doing it in a unique way. And then featuring the likes of Daily Mail and so on, via Stylist magazine, that kind of thing, kind of really enjoying the story of what we're trying to tell, and it's a bit different and it's unique, and for us it benefits us as well.
So what's next for us? It's a range of soaps. So we were recently approached by a company who make chai tea, another family-run company based in Bath. They brew through beautiful batches of chai spices, but they can only brew through them once. So we've come along and we've taken the chai, we've dried it out and used it as the core fragrance of our brand new range of soaps. So these are set to launch in the next couple of months. They are organic, they're all of those things previously spoken about, and they're also palm oil free. We've based our fragrances on the spices present in the original mixture. So vanilla, nutmeg, fennel, cardamom, allspice, all of these are the spices that are actually in that original chai mixture. They give the soaps a lovely scent and, again, a light exfoliating property as well. So we're really excited to be launching those. I think we're aiming for October. And again, so using those chai spices as an alternative to microbeads, it doesn't just have to be obvious scrubs and exfoliators. There's so many other products where these issues are also relevant. And again, the status quo is no-go. So we've looked at other products out there, and we're just saying that it's just not good enough for us. And I think that is what makes us memorable, and that's what's given us the traction that we have and enabled us to get people like Topshop and Waitrose interested in us, because it truly is different to anything else that's happening at the moment.
Yes, so a little thing that we've also been trying is basically kind of running like a very small batch in order to kind of test out what we're doing and get the initial feedback before launching a much bigger version. And with this, we call it a small batch. With this, we're extracting the oil from the coffee grounds that we're collecting, and we're basically using it as a base for, here we have a facial oil and a lip balm, always trying to find innovative ways to use the ingredients that we're collecting to create really great beauty products.
And again, encouraging like a two-way conversation with our customers as well. So with this, rather than going for those massive minimum order quantities, we will just make a few hundred, hence small batch. We take them to festivals and events and shows, so we've got them here tonight, and we'll sell them, and we'll ask people, okay, what do you think? Do you think we should go for this? Have you enjoyed this product? Do you think it's good? Is it performing well? Do you like the idea? And then from that, we can then start to make those big, scary decisions where we take it from small to massive. So that's us. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about our story.